The INFJ personality type is often described as one of the most complex and misunderstood. Because there are certain habits and actions they avoid or neglect, often to their detriment. In this note, we'll explore the 10 things 99% of INFJs fail to do, and how these oversights lead them to suffer in silence. Understanding these patterns is the first step toward healthier, more balanced living. INFJs are natural caregivers. They often feel the emotional weight of others' problems, carrying those burdens as if they were their own. While this makes them incredibly compassionate, it also means they tend to neglect their own needs. By consistently putting others first, INFJs can run themselves into the ground, leading to burnout, exhaustion, and resentment. Why they suffer: without learning to prioritize their well-being, INFJs risk losing themselves in the chaos of other people's emotions, feeling drained and unappreciated. Solution: INFJs must set boundaries and ensure they carve out time for self-care. It's not selfish, it's necessary. Saying no without guilt: one of the biggest challenges for INFJs is their innate desire to help others, even when it's at the expense of their own well-being. INFJs are highly empathetic, often picking up on the needs and emotions of those around them, and they feel a deep obligation to be of service. Emotional burnout, constantly catering to the needs of others, without taking time for self-care, leaves INFJs drained. They may become emotionally exhausted, anxious, or even resentful of the people they're trying to help. Resentment and frustration: while INFJs may initially feel good about helping others, over time, resentment can build up. They may start feeling frustrated with people who seem to take their kindness for granted, or they might feel unappreciated. This resentment can cause them to withdraw or even lash out when they've reached their emotional limit. The guilt that INFJs experience when they say no is deeply tied to their people-pleasing tendencies. Over time, the discomfort will lessen, and you'll start to feel more empowered. Consider the long-term consequences. Remind yourself that constantly saying yes can lead to long-term negative effects on your mental and physical health. By saying no when necessary, you're actually improving your ability to maintain meaningful relationships and stay emotionally balanced. Ultimately, learning to say no allows INFJs to show up authentically in their relationships. By setting boundaries and prioritizing their own needs, INFJs can engage in healthier, more balanced interactions. Instead of feeling drained or resentful, they'll be able to give from a place of abundance, knowing that they're taking care of themselves first. When INFJs stop feeling guilty about saying no, they also open themselves up to relationships that are more reciprocal and respectful. By showing others that their time and energy are valuable, INFJs set a standard for how they deserve to be treated. In the end, saying no is not a rejection of others, it's an act of self-love that helps INFJs protect their energy, maintain their emotional well-being, and lead a more fulfilling life. Speaking up for themselves: INFJs often struggle with voicing their needs or standing up for themselves in confrontational situations. They are conflict-averse, often opting to keep their thoughts to themselves rather than rocking the boat. This tendency can lead to people taking advantage of their kindness or their ideas being overlooked. Why they suffer: by not asserting themselves, INFJs allow resentment to build up internally. They also miss out on opportunities to be heard and valued. Solution: INFJs need to practice speaking their truth, even if it's uncomfortable. They have valuable perspectives that deserve recognition. For INFJs, the drive for perfection can often be a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it fuels their desire to improve themselves and the world around them, pushing them to strive for excellence. On the other hand, it can become a source of deep frustration, anxiety, and self-criticism when they inevitably fall short of their high standards. Learning to embrace imperfection is one of the hardest lessons for an INFJ, yet it is crucial for their personal growth and emotional well-being. Why INFJs struggle with imperfection: INFJs have a natural inclination toward idealism. They possess a clear vision of how things should be, whether in their personal relationships, work, or even the state of the world. This inner idealism drives them to pursue lofty goals, such as finding their perfect career, being the perfect partner, or creating a meaningful impact on the world. However, this pursuit of perfection can lead to overwhelming pressure, as the reality of life rarely matches their inner ideals. The struggle with imperfection is also closely tied to the INFJ's deep sense of empathy. Because they are so attuned to the feelings and needs of others, INFJs often feel a responsibility to be flawless in their interactions, afraid that their mistakes or imperfections will hurt or disappoint those around them. They may believe that if they can just be better, more understanding, more compassionate, more perfect, they can avoid conflict or rejection. This combination of idealism and empathy leads to a strong aversion to mistakes. INFJs may view their imperfections as personal failures, believing they are not living up to their potential or letting others down. This creates a cycle of self-doubt and insecurity, where they feel trapped between their high expectations and the reality of being human. The negative impact of perfectionism on INFJs while striving for excellence can be a positive motivator. Perfectionism often comes with serious emotional consequences for INFJs. Here are some of the ways perfectionism can negatively impact their lives. Paralysis by analysis. The fear of making mistakes can lead INFJs to overthink every decision, afraid of taking action unless they are certain the outcome will be perfect. This analysis paralysis can cause them to miss opportunities or procrastinate on important tasks, which only reinforces feelings of inadequacy. Chronic stress and burnout. Constantly holding themselves to unrealistic standards takes a toll on the INFJ's mental and emotional health. They may push themselves to exhaustion, trying to meet their own impossible expectations. Over time, this can lead to burnout, where they feel emotionally drained and unable to cope with daily demands. Difficulty in relationships. Perfectionism can also spill over into I.N.F.J.'s relationships. They may set unattainably high expectations for themselves as partners, friends, or family members, believing they need to be flawless to earn love and acceptance. At the same time, they might hold others to similarly high standards, leading to frustration or disappointment when those expectations aren't met. Fear of vulnerability. INFJs may be reluctant to show their imperfections or share their struggles with others, fearing that doing so will make them appear weak or unworthy. This fear of vulnerability can prevent them from forming deeper, more authentic connections with others, leaving them feeling isolated and misunderstood. Learning to embrace imperfection is crucial for INFJs, not only for their own peace of mind but also for their relationships and overall well-being. Here's why it matters. It reduces stress and anxiety. When INFJs accept that they are human and will inevitably make mistakes, they can release some of the pressure they place on themselves. This shift in mindset allows them to experience more peace and less anxiety in their daily lives. It fosters personal growth. Perfectionism often holds INFJs back from taking risks or trying new things, as they fear failure. By embracing imperfection, they can give themselves permission to grow, learn, and evolve through their experiences, even when things don't go perfectly. It deepens relationships. Vulnerability is a key component of healthy relationships. When INFJs allow themselves to be imperfect and share their struggles with others, they create space for deeper connections and mutual understanding. Showing that they don't have it all together all the time can help INFJs build more authentic, supportive relationships. It cultivates self-compassion. Embracing imperfection helps INFJs develop a kinder, more compassionate relationship with themselves. Instead of constantly criticizing themselves for not being good enough, they can learn to appreciate their efforts and value themselves for who they are, flaws and all. Asking for help. INFJs are highly independent, often feeling like they must solve their problems on their own. Whether it's a fear of burdening others or the belief that no one can understand them, INFJs tend to internalize their struggles rather than reach out for support. Why they suffer. Isolation can deepen emotional struggles, leaving INFJs feeling alone and misunderstood. Refusing to ask for help leads to unnecessary stress. Solution. INFJs must realize that asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. Everyone needs support at times, and seeking help can actually strengthen their relationships. Letting go of toxic relationships. INFJs often stay in toxic relationships far longer than they should. Because they see the potential in people and want to help them grow, they may cling to relationships that are harmful, hoping to fix the other person. This desire to save others can lead them into unhealthy dynamics where they are used or emotionally drained. Why they suffer. Holding on to toxic relationships drains INFJs emotionally, leading to low self-esteem, anxiety, and even depression. Solution. INFJs must learn to recognize when a relationship is no longer serving them and let go. It's essential to prioritize relationships that are mutually supportive and respectful. Living in the present. INFJs spend a lot of time in their heads, thinking about the future, analyzing the past, or pondering deep existential questions. While their introspective nature gives them depth and insight, it also pulls them out of the present moment. They can become so focused on what's next or what went wrong that they miss the beauty of what's happening now. Why they suffer. Overthinking and living in the future or past leads to feelings of dissatisfaction and anxiety, robbing INFJs of joy in the present. Solution. Mindfulness practices can help INFJs stay grounded and appreciate the present moment, reducing anxiety and promoting a sense of peace. Letting themselves be vulnerable despite their emotional intelligence. many INFJs struggle with vulnerability. They often feel misunderstood and fear that if they open up fully, they will be judged or rejected. As a result, they may build emotional walls, preventing deeper connections with others. Why they suffer: avoiding vulnerability leads to loneliness and prevents the formation of genuine, intimate relationships. INFJs yearn for deep connections but often sabotage their chances by holding back. Solution: INFJs must take the risk of being vulnerable. Sharing their true selves with trusted individuals can lead to stronger, more meaningful relationships. Letting go of control: one of the most challenging aspects of an INFJ's personality is their deep need for control. This desire stems from their idealistic nature and their constant search for harmony, both within themselves and in their external world. INFJs are highly intuitive and often feel a strong sense of responsibility for making sure everything around them is running smoothly. However, this tendency to want control over situations, relationships, and even their own emotions can become a double-edged sword, leading to frustration, stress, and inner turmoil. Why INFJs struggle with letting go of control: I.N.F.J.'s desire for control is often rooted in their need for predictability and security. As introverted intuitives, dominant, they rely heavily on their intuitive insights to understand and anticipate future outcomes. This ability gives them a sense of foresight, allowing them to prepare for what's to come. However, when situations deviate from their expectations or when they encounter uncertainty, INFJs can become anxious or overwhelmed. They may attempt to exert control to avoid unpredictability, trying to steer circumstances toward a desired outcome. Additionally, their empathetic nature, due to their auxiliary function, extroverted feeling or FE, drives them to want to control not only their own lives but also the emotional well-being of those they care about. INFJs often feel responsible for maintaining harmony in their relationships, and when conflict or misunderstandings arise, they may try to fix things or control the situation to restore balance. This need for control can also extend to their inner world. INFJs are often perfectionists who set very high standards for themselves. They may believe that if they can just control their thoughts, emotions, and behaviors well enough, they can avoid making mistakes or disappointing others. However, this internal pressure can be exhausting and self-defeating, leading to feelings of inadequacy and burnout. The negative effects of needing control while wanting control can sometimes help INFJs feel more secure. It often has detrimental effects on their mental and emotional health, increased anxiety and stress. The more INFJs try to control their environment or the people around them, the more they may feel anxious when things don't go according to plan. Life is inherently unpredictable, and trying to control every aspect of it can lead to chronic stress and frustration. Strained relationships. In relationships, I.N.F.J.'s desire for control can come across as overbearing or intrusive. Their well-intentioned efforts to help or fix a partner or friend can lead to misunderstandings, resentment, or feelings of suffocation. Over time, this dynamic can push people away, leaving INFJs feeling more isolated and misunderstood. Paralysis and inaction. Sometimes, I.N.F.J.'s need for control can paralyze them from taking action. They may feel that unless they can be 100% certain of an outcome or that everything will go perfectly, it's better not to act at all. This can result in missed opportunities, procrastination, and a sense of stagnation. Difficulty with vulnerability. Letting go of control requires vulnerability, the willingness to admit that things might not go as planned and that it's okay to fail or make mistakes. INFJs often struggle with this because they equate vulnerability with weakness. As a result, they may resist opening up to others or taking risks, fearing that losing control will make them appear flawed or inadequate. Set healthy boundaries. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up all responsibility. INFJs can still set boundaries in their relationships and lives, ensuring they are not overwhelmed by trying to manage everything. Healthy boundaries allow them to prioritize their well-being without feeling the need to fix others. Embrace imperfection. INFJs can remind themselves that it's okay to make mistakes and that they don't have to be perfect. Learning to be more compassionate with themselves allows them to release the pressure to control every aspect of their lives. Delegate and trust others. In relationships or work situations, INFJs can practice delegating tasks or responsibilities to others, trusting that things will get done even if they aren't in full control. This not only reduces their workload but also strengthens their trust in others. Seek support. Letting go of control can be challenging, but INFJs don't have to do it alone. They can seek support from trusted friends, therapists, or mentors who can help them navigate the process and offer guidance when they feel overwhelmed. Ultimately, letting go of control helps INFJs live more freely, experience deeper connections, and reduce the inner tension that comes with trying to manage everything. It's a critical step toward emotional well-being and personal growth. Accepting help and compliments. Ironically, while INFJs love to help others, they often have difficulty accepting help themselves. Compliments, too, make them uncomfortable because they're more focused on what they could improve than what they've done well. Why they suffer: by not accepting help or compliments, INFJs deprive themselves of the support and validation they deserve. Solution: INFJs should practice graciously accepting help and compliments. It's a way to let others care for them and show appreciation. INFJs are complex, compassionate individuals who often face unique internal struggles. By failing to prioritize their own needs, set boundaries, and embrace imperfection, many INFJs suffer in silence. It's crucial for INFJs to recognize these self-sabotaging patterns and make intentional changes toward healthier living. If you're an INFJ, take a moment to reflect on these 10 points. Do any of them resonate with you? What steps can you take to break the cycle of suffering and move toward a more balanced, fulfilling life? Leave a comment below with your thoughts, and don't forget to share this note with others who might benefit from it.